YouTube, what's up, baby? We're back in this thing again for another review. This is Q's Insight. I am Callie, and today we're going to be talking about Ms. Marvel, Episode 4, entitled Seeing Red. Alright, now if you've been to the channel before, you already know how we do it. We started off with the premise, 3 favorite scenes, the grade, and then we on to the next one, right? So, again, Ms. Marvel, Episode 4, entitled Seeing Red. So on this one, we pick up with Kamala and her mother, and they're actually heading to Pakistan to see Kamala's grandma. Now, they arrive in Karachi, and that's where they meet up with Kamala's grandma and Kamala's cousins. There's a girl cousin named Zainab, and then there's a boy cousin named Awais. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. But yeah. So then from there, Kamala and her mom go to Kamala's grandma's house, and Kamala ends up looking around and stuff like that, and she ends up finding this room with a lot of like paintings and whatever else may be, and her grandma walks in on her, and they have a conversation, and Kamala ends up asking her grandma about the bracelet and what she knows about it, and she knows, you know, quite a bit, and she also knows that Kamala is per se, you know, jinn as well. So this surprises Kamala because, you know, nobody else really knew about these things except for the jinn, except for Bruno, with her telling him that, you know, she has powers, and you know, so it's something that's crazy to her, because it's something that feels good as well, because it's like none of her family knows any of this. So the fact that her grandma knows about it, it has to feel good, you know what I'm saying? It has to be some type of relief. And then they end up talking about the train that was in Kamala's vision. The train that said Karachi in the front. And this was a train that was used by, I guess, like, maybe her grandma when they were leaving back in the day, you feel me? But anyways, what ends up happening from there is Kamala goes to sleep, and she has a dream about basically the things that took place on the last episode. You know, the wedding, everything falling to shambles, her fighting against the jinn, and, you know, so that's what's running through her mind at that point. So the next day, she goes to eat with her cousins, Zainab and Awais, I think his name is pronounced, I don't know. And her mom is joining the meal as well. After that, they go sightseeing, and Kamala ends up going to this train station, and so she leaves her 2 cousins and goes off on her own. So she goes to this train station, and she's trying to kind of look for, I guess maybe clues or whatever it may be, to that train that was in her vision. So when she goes over there, she ends up running into this guy, and they end up fighting, and he's like he has like a little mask on his face, but they end up fighting, and then from there we end up finding out that he knows about her abilities, and he's not an actual bad guy, and the reason why he even tried to fight Kamala was because he thought that she was a clandestine, which is, you know, the per se the jinn. And she is a jinn, but she's not like one of the bad jinn, you feel me? So he tells her, hey, you know, we need to leave because the police and everything like that must have heard the fight or saw the fight through footage, and then they were actually coming after them too. So he's like, you know, we need to leave, and I know somebody that you need to meet. So she ends up following him, and he takes her to the secret ground of the Red Daggers. All right, so the Red Daggers are basically a group of people that will stand and fight against the knowns and unknowns. But they're good. They're positive. So she meets this guy named Walid, and this is the guy that she meets a guy named Walid, and then the guy that she ran into and ended up fighting in the beginning, his name is Kareem. So Kareem takes her to meet Walid. She meets Walid, and he knows a lot about her past, people in her family, about the bracelet, about the clandestines, about the jinn. And so he basically is telling her about some stuff. He also fills her in on, the red daggers and what they are, and the reason of them fighting for good. So as he's telling her about the clandestines, we end up finding out that they are from another realm. Now, I already knew that they were from a different, I thought they were from a different, universe or something like that, because they said they were from a different world. But I guess they're from a different realm. So it's, literally there, but just, it's not at the same time. You feel me? So I don't know if we got, realms and we got multiverses, other dimensions. You know what I'm saying? It's... We are going far. You feel me? It ain't just Earth no more, it is a lot. But yeah, so we end up finding out also that her power is Noor energy. So her power basically is kind of from the jinn's world. And we also find out that if the jinn go back to their realm, Najma and stuff like that, if they go back to the realm, they will open up their world on top of our world, and our world will be destroyed, and only their world will exist. So, that's one of the things that he fights, as a Red Dagger member, as probably the Red Dagger, elder member. He fights against the clandestine to keep them from doing that. You know what I'm saying? And then we also find out on a bracelet there is this saying on there, and it basically says Walid is able to read it to Kamala, and basically says what you seek is seeking you. So we don't necessarily know what that means just yet. It may have something, it does have some type of importance, but we don't know exactly what that means yet. And then, bro, Najma and Cameron and the other jinn, they end up escaping the agent facility, the agents that took them in last time on the last episode. They end up escaping the agent facility, and when they exit the agent facility, Najma tells Cameron that he has to go on his own for the decision that he made to actually stand against, his mother and the rest of the jinn to help Kamala. So she's like, we're all free, but you got to do your own thing now. You made a decision to not be with us, so you're not going to be with us. So, anyways, after a while, Kamala ends up talking to her grandma, and then goes to eat with Kareem and his friends, and we get to learn a little bit. Well, we don't really learn much about Kareem when Kamala's with her friends. They're just vibing together. You feel me? They're getting closer as friends. So then from there, while Kamala's doing that, Kamala's grandma basically covers for Kamala and tells Kamala's mom that Kamala is actually with her cousins, when in all actuality Kamala is actually with Kareem and his friends. But anyways, Kamala's mom and Kamala's grandma end up having a talk, and I felt like it was an important conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like them catching up and whatever else it may be. So it was a cool conversation. So anyways, Kamala then comes back home, and then Kamala sits down with her mother, and they end up eating this candy this toffee candy that Kamala's grandmother had bought for Kamala's mom a long time ago. So then the next day comes and Kamala goes to the Red Dagger hideout, and she basically learns more about her powers as far as like wielding them. You feel me? From Waleed. Waleed helps her. And then he also gives her some clothing. And, you know, she's basically now, per se, you know, a Red Dagger member. But, you know, not at the same time, you know? And then, dude, all of a sudden, man, Najma and the other Jinn break into the Red Dagger's hideout, bro. And it's an all-on war, bro. Waleed fends off like the Jinn while they're in like the hideout area for the Red Daggers. And as that's happening, Kareem and Kamala, they run out of the building. But yo, Waleed, he fends them off, bro. And then he ends up joining back up with Kareem and Kamala. And they're running away from Najma and the others. And they're like riding on bikes and then whatever else it may be. And then like Kamala, Kareem, and Waleed are riding on this bike all together. And then the Jinn, some of the Jinn, they're in like this bus and then they're chasing after them. So they're on their tail. And then what ends up happening is they all have to split up. So Waleed goes one way, Kamala goes one way, and Kareem goes one way. And then eventually Kareem and Kamala meet back up with each other, and then they're on the run together now. Waleed is still on his own, running away, you know what I'm saying? And what ends up happening is Waleed runs into Najma. He starts fighting her. And as he's fighting her, he sees that Kamala and Kareem are headed towards him. But one of the Jinn is after them. And he may end up like hurting them or killing them. So Waleed sacrifices himself and takes the weapons that he's using to fight against Najma and throws them at the Jinn that's chasing Kareem and Kamala. And then that Jinn ends up dying. But then because he turned his back and threw the weapon, Najma takes the upper hand and stabs him in his back and pushes him off the building. So Waleed ends up dying. Bruh. Anyways, and then so, you know, Waleed and Kamala are, you know, devastated from what just happened to, Kamala and Kareem are devastated about what happened to Waleed. But Kareem is like, come on, we still got to keep running. He's gone. There's nothing we can do about it. We got to keep running. So they keep running, and they end up getting into like this dead end area. So they have nowhere to run at this point. So they have to face their fears. So Kareem and Kamala get ready to fight against Najma and the rest of the Jinn coming after them. And so they start fighting, and you know, Kareem and Kamala are doing it, bro. They're doing it for sure. And then Kareem ends up killing one of another Jinn or whatever it may be. And then Najma ends up taking like this dagger and tries to stab Kamala. But Kamala blocks it with her bracelet. And when the bracelet and the dagger come into contact with each other, it ends up sending Kamala into like another like dimension per se. It's like, you know how she has her visions? She actually got sent into her vision. So it was kind of different. But she ends up, you know, basically being where she needs to be. She is at the train that said Karachi in the front in the past. So we got to see where this is what's going to happen. But that's basically how it ends off. That's basically the premise. 3 of my favorite scenes will be Kamala and Kareem when they first meet and they're fighting. That was pretty dope. Another one of my favorite scenes will be Waleed fending off the Jinn, bro. When they first broke into the Red Dagger building, bro, he was taking them all on by himself, and he was handling, dog. He was handling, bro. I was worried. I was like, yo, like, he's gonna get hurt. He's gonna get killed, or he's gonna get hurt. Like, y'all gotta help him or whatever. I was like, he gonna sacrifice himself. No, he did not, bro. Not right there, at least. He handled all of them, bro, and then was able to catch up with Kamala and Kareem, bro. I was like, yo, Waleed is the dude. Like, this is my dude for this show. And then of course, bro, he sacrificed himself and he dies. I'm like, yo, like, come on, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? But hey, Kareem, God, Waleed went out like a G, bro. He's the one, bro. He's the one. Anyways, my third favorite scene would be Kamala and Kareem having to, you know, fight against the Jinn at the very end. And they're handling, dog. They were handling, bro. Kareem he's a dope fighter, bro. He doesn't have no powers, but he is a dope fighter. He's able to take out the Jinn, you feel me, with no powers, man. Just like Waleed was handling this business with no powers. Just straight up, you know, straight up fighting skills, straight up fighting tactics, you know, fighting experience, bro. Handling, you know what I'm saying? So I love Waleed. I'm so sad that he ended up dying, but you know, Kareem is the next one in line, and Kareem can do it, you feel me? Without no powers, though, bro. He's over here handling, dog. Like, yo, that would be 3 of my favorite scenes. This episode was great. This episode was great. If I had any doubt about this show, episode 3 and episode 4, which is this episode, has brought me back into the light. You feel me? I'm liking this for sure. You know what I'm saying? The first 2 episodes is like, you know what I'm saying? Third one was like, okay. Fourth one, I'm here. And I'm ready for next week. You know what I'm saying? I want to see the next episode, bro. Bro, the red daggers are dope, dog. They are dope. But anyways, because I love this so much, man, and just the way things are going and the way things are being set up, bro, I got to give this a 10 out of 10, man. So I give it a 10 out of 10 for the episode 4, man. If you guys saw the episode, let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments down below, bro. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. As always, this is Q's Insight. I am Cali. Until next time.